3 months after my hair transplant that I had done in Turkey. How's it going? Let's find out, shall we? Hello, my name's Matt Fitzgerald. It's great to have you joining me here. So, some of you may be following the channel. Some of you may already know that I had a hair transplant in Turkey of October 2023. After that, I have some videos which you can scroll down for. I have a playlist of, a video before, during pretty much, and a few updates afterwards as well. What I would like to say is I was planning on doing a bit of a weekly update, but there was no real point. Because basically what happens is you have your hair transplant done, and obviously it's all, covered in scabs and all of those for the first couple of weeks. You've got to be very, very careful. You've got to make sure you don't knock it and all of this. Then you start to wash the scabs off and things, and then little hair sprouts out, and you end up looking like you got a bit of a buzz cut, and you're feeling really good about everything, and you're thinking to yourself, brilliant stuff. And then in the first 2 weeks, or just as you get up to the first 2 weeks, all of that new hair starts to fall out. Now, don't panic. That is supposed to happen. Okay, that is normal. And then the baby hair, the new hair starts to grow out, and it's very, very fine. It's not very thick, and it's very difficult actually to see unless you really, really are looking. So that's where I've been since my last update. Is realistically in that phase of letting it grow. Now, I'm not going to take my hat off and show you a big full head of hair at the moment, which, I'm hoping to do at some point. But what I am going to show you is what it looks like after 3 months. Now, let's get on with it, shall we? So it's very difficult on the camera, and I'll put some pictures and things on. But obviously I had my hair, so about where my finger is there is where I've had my transplant, which is all at the front. So all the way around here, obviously. So I've got a bit of hair there now, which you might be able to pick up on the camera. It's still quite fine in a lot of, and it looks a little patchy as well. But what I can tell you is there's some quite long bits actually. And you can touch it, it doesn't hurt or anything like that. It still feels a little bit funny, but the feeling is coming back. It's also sometimes a little bit itchy, not an itchy like, oh my God, but just like you just want to rub it like that. But there is a lot of hair there, a lot of fine hair. So I was at a hotel speaking at an event at the weekend, and the lighting was completely different to any lightings that we have around my house and things. And it really stood out. The little fine hairs you could see really, really well. I tried to get some pictures. I'll try and put those on here as well. So maybe you're looking at those now. But there is a lot of hair there. Now it's just a waiting game. So the first 3 months are pretty much getting the operation done, the procedure done, and then they call it the ugly duckling phase. So basically you're just waiting for it to start growing and things. Now I've got no problems wandering around doing talks and all of those sort of things the way I am now. In fact, right here, right now, it looks like a bit of a buzz cut. When you get close, you can see it's a bit pink. It's still a bit pink there. They say that will fade. Obviously, it's just going to take a lot of time to do so. So, 6 months or something like that, you start to see that start to disappear, so to speak. But by that time, once you've grown the hair, it should cover it basically anyway. So that's my update realistically there. 3 months in and we're starting to now have decent hair there. I think it was about 2 weeks ago when I was washing my hair, and I always rub there as well, because that's used to be bald. And all of a sudden it was just like with the soap and everything, it's like, oh, I can feel hair. It feels like, I've got hair. Crazy stuff, which is what it's hopefully supposed to do. So what have I been doing over the last 3 months? Well, I've still been looking after it. I'm still using the shampoo that was given to me by the clinic, which is for hair growth and everything. So nothing wrong there. When that runs out, I am allowed to use any shampoos that I want. I will probably use a sort of a caffeine-based shampoo as well that helps your hair, because I was using that before and it did seem to make my hair a bit thicker. Generally just trying to look after, not banging my head or anything like that. So making sure that I'm, just careful. Just careful. If I did bang my head and things, and I have took a knock to it, it's like any other time, your head hurts at the end of the day. So it's nothing like that. Anything bad happened over... Now, I was told that you could get a lot of like whitehead pimples, spots, whatever you want to call them, as the hairs poke through. I've had a few, but I've not had anything that I would say has been a worry or bugged me. In fact, it's almost quite nice when you see a bit of a white-headed pimple, because the thing is, it should take 3 days, they say, basically. So you start to get the white-headed pimple, then the second day it looks quite predominant, and normally in the third day, it's sorted itself out. Not being gross or anything like that. It's a hair just coming through, just pushing its way through. So realistically, what you actually think of, oh, there's another hair coming. Now, if it takes over 3 days and you've still got it, then the clinic and the doctors and stuff have said to send them a message, take a picture of it and see them. And I did have some other cream to rub on that just in case, because I know, and I'm watching videos and things, that people have struggled with that and had problems. So I haven't, luckily, but I have had a few whiteheads, and then you sort of go and look in the mirror and the next minute it's sorted itself out, and you might have like a little scab or something, a bit of skin, dry skin or something like that. As I say, not trying to be gross, just there, you just rub off and it's like, oh, another hair. Happy days, happy days. What else can I tell you about over the last couple of months? I will say there were times, now people who know me know that I've had this done, are always looking at it saying, oh yeah, it looks good, it's coming through. Now I think a lot of the time, from my perspective, it just felt like they were giving me support, because I kept looking in the mirror, and around here I had an area that was very, very much bald, if you like. It was very smooth, a real like sort of round circle, and it was my wife that kept saying, I think that might be one of those areas that you can get as well, where the hair doesn't grow initially. Sometimes it's like scared tissue, so to speak. Not scarred tissue, scared tissue. So we have some cream that we can rub on to sort of help inject growth into those areas. And I did each month I have to take pictures of it, send it to the clinic. They review those pictures and come back to me with any recommendations or things they want me to do. The last one they did, I did say, what about this? They said, well, just keep an eye on it. And then this month, tomorrow I'll be sending pictures off. For the third month from where I am. You might be watching this at a different time. But I'm happy to say there's hair there now. So it started as a bit of stubble, and now there's good hair in the area that actually didn't have anything whatsoever. So overall, I would say that I'm where I need to be. I'm not 100% sure I know where I'm supposed to be or anything like that, but yeah, it's a slow process now. So realistically, if you're going to get this done, they say, about 80% of the growth and the hair that's going to come through will have come through in 12 months. So do have patience with it. It seems now to be, over the last couple of weeks, to be growing, it's probably because I can see it, whereas before it was so fine you couldn't really see it. You knew it was there, but it was just like patchy and coming through. So it's almost a case of trust the process. I knew it was going to be like this. I've also watched and followed people, so the process there. But equally, in the back of your mind, of course, when you're seeing it all the time, you're thinking, oh, what happens if it's like, I got a clump of hair there, clump of hair there, it'll look worse, I should have just left it. All of those sort of things, all that doubt sort of comes into your mind. But I think at the end of the day, just deal with it. So if that was the case, and it could still be the case, just deal with it. What I would say to anybody who's having this done or thinking of having this done is make sure that you document it with photographs that you can look back on. Because what I did was, and I didn't take enough, I wish I had taken more photographs of when initially we got cleared off the scabs and got that all off with the shampoo and everything. And then I had that sort of first bit of growth, and then it all fell out, and then you're left pretty much bald for a while. I only took one really good picture. I took a few pictures, but they weren't really, really good. But there was one picture that I took when I was in my kitchen, actually, a selfie. It might be coming up now. If I can dig it out, I'll dig it out and I'll put it up right here, right now, so you can see what I'm saying. Where it looks like my whole hair is a buzz cut, okay? So that tells me, have faith, Mark, because that's grown for a reason, okay? There are follicles there. The hair has grown up through that, because you've got to remember, when I had this done, and I had the FUE transplant done, which is where they go in with like a little drill thing. I don't know, it sounded like a drill, felt like it, and pluck out each of your hair follicles, and then of course they make little insertions in the top of your head, and then they plant them in. So obviously they planted them in, they grew, it all fell out. Now you're getting new hair. Now what can happen with that cycle as well that I've learned is the new hair can fall out. So you can have that cycle can repeat itself up to about 5 times before it starts to, you know, bed itself in. I have not noticed the new hair falling out per se, maybe the odd strand, everything, you know. If I do tend to wipe it, I always have a little look at my hand just to see if there's a hair there or something. Is there a follicle attached to it? Do you know what I mean? Is it got a root? But no, it's nice just to do that. So the faith was there. You know, when I was a little bit disheartened, let's just put it that way, when I was thinking to myself, ooh, this is taking a while. Maybe it's not going to look, you know, when it could be patchy. I've looked at that picture again and I've seen that the hair is there. I'm just waiting for it to come back out to play. So it seems over the last couple of weeks that there's been plenty of action, plenty of growth. I wanted to jump in and do a video. I wanted to share what I've been doing the last few weeks, which is realistically just trying to look after it as best I can. You do get funny looks. It is quite strange. In the sense that when you're talking to somebody, their eyes are like that. Look up. Oh, your head looks a bit pink. They don't say anything. They don't say anything. The last one I had actually was at the hotel I was at. I was at the reception and I was just, I think my key card didn't work. So I was just going back and getting a new key card. And she was talking to me like that and everything. And then her eyes are going, you know, she's like double checking, double looking, double checking to see what it's all about. It doesn't bother me. I've seen people as well in the street give it a second glance. So, you know, it is what it is. I probably would do the same if I were looking over. I won't be looking at somebody now and I'm thinking, oh, have they just had a hair transplant? Or, you know, something looks a little bit different. So it is there. So if you're very self-conscious, I'm not really that hence doing videos and telling everybody and getting it out there. I'm not that self-conscious about it all. Do I take care of my appearance? I do my best, and my wife helps me with that as well. But I do try and do my best to take care of my appearance, as I think, you know, we all should at the end of the day. But if you are self-conscious of it, of course, you can wear hats. I got hats, actually. I prefer hats that are breathable rather than just all enclosed. So I have 2 caps, and they're both got the breathable mesh on. I actually just prefer that. My head does get hot very, very quickly. And I'm not a massive hat man. But just be careful. Really, you want to be leaving it as long as possible before you stick something on your head once you've had it done. They say up to 2 weeks. I tried to leave it as long as possible, up to a month before I started sticking hats and stuff on. Got myself a nice little flat cap now as well. Hey, if it's good enough for David Beckham, it's good enough for me. But that was for winter, and I've been wearing woolly hats and things. But yeah, just be careful. I mean, motorbike helmets, motorcycle helmets, or, you know, or those sort of things, you're not supposed to be wearing for at least 30 days. So if you want to go snowboarding and stuff and you've got to wear helmets and things, then it could be 30 days for it. But just plan it into your life. If you're going to get it done and it's important to you, then, you know, hopefully it'll only be something you get done right. I will reiterate, you might have heard this in the other videos, that men generally lose their hair the most between the ages of 25 and 35, okay? Now, don't shoot me if you were 35 and you lost all your hair at 40. Do you know what I mean? But this is what they're saying in this study. Okay, I'm just taking other people's statistics, and that pretty much was the case for me. And then after 35, you don't necessarily stop losing your hair, but it can slow down. Okay, so if you are, I don't know, 23, 24, 22, and you've got big hair loss there, you might want to think about riding it out for a minute. Now, you might not either, and it's all personal preference, but you probably haven't gone through the cycle of actually losing your hair yet. So that is where you could be at more of a risk of doing this and it's still going back further. So you might think, oh, touch these bits up here, and then it goes back, touch these bits up here. And then by the time you actually could have just done the whole area and got it sorted, you've had too many procedures done and you haven't got enough follicles and stuff anymore. So it's just something to be mindful of. I didn't really know about any of that until I did it. I haven't said to myself, I'm going to wait for a certain age to then go and get this done. But I would just be mindful that every time I hear sort of stories of people that are very, very young doing this, it wasn't such a big thing when I was younger anyway. I do think to myself, ooh, they're definitely going to be going back, or you know what I mean, that sort of thing. You know, people like Wayne Rooney, he had it done very young. Paul had lost his hair very early, and of course he's had a few of them done, and you get to the point where you've just got to say enough's enough. So it's entirely up to you. If you're starting to lose it now and you're over the age of 35, then it's probably a decent time to do it. If you're a bit before that, then maybe it will be too soon. But then, who am I to tell you what you can and can't do? Go and do what's right for yourselves, and if it makes you happy. And of course, women can do the same as well if they're struggling, or they're losing their hair or receding or anything like that. I am going to have, it is quite thin there, because people said to me, well, why didn't you get the crown done? You tend to go bald from the crown forward, whereas you recede. Obviously, it's a slower thing from the front. I can go back and have the crown done at a later date. I didn't want to, I'm not that fussed about the crown, if I'm quite honest with you. I'm more of a, I want to, as long as I look in the mirror and see what I want to see, I'm happy. You know, back of my head, that's for everybody else to see. Maybe I'll have it done in the future, maybe not. But that's 3 months in. Let's try and keep this short and sweet as possible. So let's edit half of this out. But 3 months in from my hair transplant in Turkey, how am I feeling? I'm feeling good now, feeling positive. I've been feeling good and pretty positive all the way through. I think, you know, it was such a professional procedure. It was done. People say, how long did it take? 7 hours. Oh my God, did it hurt? And that's the main thing. The one question I will tell you, if you get this done and people know about it, they'll say, did it hurt? Or does it still hurt? Listen, you'll look at some of those, I look back at a couple of those videos, I'm like, I'm in agony. Oh, I'm in agony. It was sore. I wouldn't say it was painful. I like to say that I've actually stubbed my toe on a table or a bed, and that hurts more. It was sore, but you know, you had the anesthetic which was pumped in. That was probably the thinking back now, that was the nastiest bit. That was the bit that I had 2 basic instructions, which was stop so I could move when they were doing the procedure, or pain, in which case they'd shoot you with some anesthetic again just to sort out the pain. And I had it once at the back behind my ear, and I had it on top as well. But I did contemplate when they were doing it, and it hurt. And it did hurt, but I wouldn't say I wanted to scream or anything like that. It was nothing like that. It was just like pain, uncomfortable. But I contemplated whether to not say anything, because the anesthetic, that hurt more. That's like little bee stings going in, and it's not just like, oh, you have 1 or 2. You have loads of them peppered all over your head. So that's probably the nastiest bit. The rest of it, you've got some painkillers, you've got your anesthetic, the recovery. It's never hurt. It's never kept me awake at night thinking, oh my God, this hurts so much. When I did say I was in agony, I was being a bit of a drama person, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really hurt. Obviously, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be sore to a point, but never once has it kept me awake. Have I struggled with it? Have I had shooting pains or anything like that? They said to me for the next 3 months or whatever, you know, from having it done, there will be times where it becomes a bit itchy. Initially, you have some spray. You can still use that if you want, actually. But yeah, so sometimes it is a bit itchy, but I quite like just gently rubbing my head anyway. I don't know whether that removes any sort of dry skin, helps the hair to come through or anything like that, or whether I'm supposed to do that or not. But just doing that, it feels quite nice actually. I'm also feeling hair every there. You know, it might not pick it up on a camera, but everywhere I'm rubbing my fingers now on my head, I'm feeling as if it's there. It just doesn't feel quite as long. So for hairstyles as well, I've just gone buzz cut. Buzz cut each and every time. I've gone for 0.5 in most parts. You can't get a haircut for the first month. And then of course you can, and it looks a bit, you know, it's long there, it's short where they've taken the follicles and stuff. But now every 3 weeks, I go and have a buzz cut. Now I have a buzz cut from there backwards, so the sides, the bit where they took it all from, I haven't showed you that, have I? See what you can see. I'll try and zoom in on the video, but obviously around here is where they took it all. I can't really see it, I'm not really that fussed, but I'm told you can't really even tell, which is good. So from there all the way back where it's the transplanted area, you can have buzz cut. You can't buzz cut the new section for 12 months. So my hairdresser is an absolute little gem, and what she does do is, because you do get some hairs that get quite long in the new section, she runs a comb in it and slices them off with her scissors. So I'm looking forward to, I think realistically a few more weeks and I'll be able to let the top all start to grow. So I'm just trying to keep it all short until this section here is ready to just leave it to go, and then I can just let the top do its thing. I always keep the sides short anyway, and happy days. And I will keep you updated. So I'll try and do a 4-month review, a 5-month review, a 6-month review, and I think that's probably better. I think I got a bit carried away saying I was going to give you weekly updates. So this is the latest update. This is month 3 after my FUE haircut or hair transplant that I had done. I hope this helps you. If you've got any questions or you're thinking of having it done yourself, then please feel free to put them in the comments below. I always check the comments and I'm more than happy to answer any questions and point in the right direction. So do make sure as well that you check out my other videos, which I filmed myself going through the procedure, not per se getting it done, that was very difficult, but being in Turkey, going to Turkey, getting it done the day after I got it done, the first wash, all of those sort of things. There are some videos that at the end of this you'll be able to click onto and watch the full journey if it's something that you're interested in. So do take care, and I will be back here in a month's time to let you know how I'm getting on. Until then, bye for now.